DB, welcome to the winner's circle, pal. Happy to have you here.
Welcome. I'm glad to be a part of it, mate. I actually won.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear about it then. So.
Welcome to the No Ifs, Putts and Bogeys podcast. We are a no-nonsense, straight-talking golf podcast discussing all the hot topics in the world of golf. This podcast is brought to you in association with Barretto Golf, a stylish, affordable golf clothing brand. Please visit barrettogolf.com for all the latest offers. That's BARRETO golf.com for all the latest offers. This podcast is also brought to you on behalf of the Golf Gang Network. Please do go check out some of the other golfing podcasts. And you may notice, if you are watching, that Mr. Harry Clark is not here again. We actually let him go on holiday because it's been his birthday this week. So I hope he's having a good time. But poor commitment to the podcast, Harry. We will be discussing that in your quarterly review. But moving on, AB, how was your weekend, buddy?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Nice to have some exceptional weather for a change. So I was sending some big drives down Brampton Heath Golf Course. But sadly, conditions were quite hard. So we've been waiting for ages for good weather, and now we've got some, and all of a sudden it's become very difficult to play up there. So, go on.
I was heard on the golf course on multiple occasions over the weekend saying it could be too hot. Now, if that ain't classic British mentality, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, it's vintage, isn't it? So, like, I had a few big drives, well over 240, and I was getting very unlucky bounces. So, hitting the fairways, and the fairways have firmed up now, and they were like hitting divots or jagging left, and I was ending up in the first cut a lot. So, I was literally I couldn't have made it like more perfect shots, and then just getting unlucky bounces, and then basically up our gaff we've got quite tough rough at the moment as well, and then the greens have been for the last 3 weeks like greenskeeper's revenge. Like, it's an absolute unbelievable setup. Some of the pin positions, you got a massive green, and the greenkeepers put the pin on the edge, and I hit loads of putts on Saturday that were a few inches here or there away from being such a better score. I've ended up with a 102 without really doing an awful lot wrong. I haven't lost it, and I haven't been at plus 100 for well over a year, and that wasn't on my home course. It was in another venue. So yeah, it was tough, but no, happy with how I'm hitting it and stuff. Just need to hold a few more putts, and we go again on Saturday. See if we can turn it around, get back onto the sort of handicap form that I was on a few weeks ago when we last did a pod. But
I love it.
Yeah, all good. And I guess that's enough about me, because the big story hot off the press over the weekend was that you've got your first win on the board.
I have indeed, mate. I have indeed. I have to say, it was a rather bizarre round because I played some exceptional golf, but I actually missed loads of putts. So I had a lesson I discussed, I think, on the last pod of the pod before, where I kind of corrected my swing a little bit and started to hit it quite a lot straighter. And honestly, off the tee, I don't really remember. I think there was one on 12 where I hit a tree, was just short of the fairway, but obviously it bounced back in play, so I was absolutely fine.
Yeah,
nothing abnormal there. But other than that, honestly, I think the furthest I was away from the fairway was about 2 yards. There was a drive on the 7th, actually, where I absolutely smoked it, and it clipped a tree, and it actually went to the left and into the bunker short on the 8th. But I hit a really good fairway bunker shot out with an 8 iron all the way down the fairway, and then I ended up with an 8 on that hole. I sort of started to start. I'll come back. I'll sort of give you a bit of a breakdown because one thing that I was really impressed with myself about, without blowing my own trumpet, was my mental strength, mate. Real talk, because on the 4th hole, I've hit a lovely shot down the middle of the fairway. I was about 80 yards from the green. I've hit a wedge short, which was a bit annoying. But I had to go up and over the bunker, and the pin was like quite tight to the bunker. So I thought, just get it on the green, middle of the green, 2-putt, and we'll go. But obviously, it's been really hot, and our greenkeeper is really good. Shout out Ben and his team. The greens were running real true, quite sharp, pretty tough conditions out there. And I chipped one up, and it rolled. It like bounced within a foot of the hole, and it rolled all the way off the back of the green and down the slope. So then I'm like chipping back on. I chipped it back, and it's rolled again past the pin. So I've now had 4 shots, and then I ended up 3-putting, which was actually a bit of the story of the day. So I ended up with a 7 on the 4th hole. And at this point, the
4th's quite an easy hole for your gaff.
Well, straight up and down, basically.
Yeah,
it's
one
very
of the
much
easier ones. So
yeah.
It's not really a good start. But.
So it's usually, the sort of point where your head could be rolling off at this stage because I'm already 2 over.
Yep.
But then you're on the 5th, which is a par 3, 210 yards. And I put it to 4 foot and then rolled it in for a 2. So I was thinking, here we fucking go. Let's have it. Then
How much did you get for 2's club?
I'm not sure yet. The email hasn't come around yet. So, but it'll be all right. I think there's only 6 or 7 2s on the whole day. There's about 110 golfers. So I think it'll be quite good. Then I had quite a few pars, which was good. Back 9 was real tidy. I'm just going to get the scorecard up, actually. Probably should have done that in prep. But parred the 6th, which is par 5, can be quite tricky. And on the 7th, I hit an 8, but I recovered really well on the 8th and 9th to get a 5 and a 4. I was actually, again, on the 9th, I probably should have had a 3 because I came out the bunker really well. But on the front 9, I 3-putted 3 times, and then I 2-putted some 2-putts, which were like 3-4 foot, which you really should expect to go in. Then on the back, I 3-putted twice, and I still shot 2 under my handicap. So that's a testament to how well I was actually striking the ball. On the back, I came home in 41 shots, which is 6 over par.
Yeah, very good.
Pretty happy with that. Very consistent golf striking of the ball. Just a bit of short game work to do. So I actually went back to the course on Sunday, had a little putting lesson with our pro, Lucy. Thank you very much, Lucy, because yesterday afternoon I had a little 9 holes with a mate, and I actually sank like 4 1-putts, and it was like they were like real putts. Like it was good. It wasn't like they were like 2 foot. It was like they could be missable, They were like 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. And I rolled them with a proper swing. She straightened me up, bit my shoulders. I was a little bit open, and as a result, my back shoulders coming through a little bit, whereas straightened up, and I've got a bit more of a better swing plane, if you will, with the putter. Stood me up a little bit, and it's coming through a little bit better. So the ball's rolling.
I'd say like for the amateur golfer, that's sort of around about our handicaps. So between sort of 15 and 20.
Yeah.
That's the main skill area to get to that next level of being below 15 and, working towards single figures is putting and 1-putts and holing things that are within sort of 3 feet.
Yeah.
Like for me, I mean, you and I, we both do between 30 and 40 putts around. And, for me, I don't do much wrong off the tee. And, to still be getting, sort of 80s, high 80s, 90s, and then like I was on Saturday, plus 100. A lot of it is down to that putting. So,
yeah,
play for getting a lesson is a good shout. And
Well, I wanted to correct it because our summer knockouts are going on at the moment. I've got 2 matches this week, one tonight, and one on Thursday. Where the guy who I'm playing tonight, he shot just over his handicap on the weekend, and I've got to give him 4 shots, so it could be a tricky customer. But feeling confident, I'm striking the ball well. As long as I play to the best of my ability, if he wins, then that's golf in it. Sometimes someone can turn up better than you. And the other guy shot level, and he plays off 11, so he's going to be a tricky customer as well. So we'll have to wait and see how we go. I'm very confident. I'm positive. Striking the ball well. Feel like my puttings should come on leaps and bounds over the next week or so. Just give me a couple of drills to work on, which I will try and get into and do a little bit at the club before we tee off tonight. And then, we'll find out next week how I got on, boys. So let's.
So I've got a few questions for you. So, firstly, in terms of our games, right? So you're saying you're striking it well, and
so well.
I would say, even though my scores haven't been great in the last couple, I'm striking it really well also. Mm-hmm. But because we've had this sudden sort of mini heat wave, and it was like mid-20s over the weekend when we played, my yardages were all over the shop.
Yeah.
So, and without really doing, I know I use a Garmin, I know what roughly my yardages are, but some of them, like I hit a 9-iron like up the hill, and because of it bounced and rolled, it ended up being 170 and went through the green when I should have been on the green in round. Yeah, but it came out of nowhere, because then like I've you still have the odd duff and things like that, but then my wedges and like my shorter irons, because I was hitting those cleaner than like my longer ones, they were going so much further than what they would do, like in the winter and that. And I was all over the shop really on the weekend. But I guess
so I was pretty steady, to be fair. I know my driver was going a lot further, and I was a lot further off the tee, which put me in a lot better positions. But in terms of like the approach shots, I was thereabouts. There's a couple where I was just over the back. I was about 155, and it was slightly downhill on the 12th, and I hit an 8-iron and flew the green by about 10 yards. So I was that one come out a little bit hot.
Yeah.
On the 14th, which is uphill, I was 160 yards. And because it was uphill, in my head, I thought it's probably playing like, well, not uphill, but an incline, definitely. I thought the pin was at the back. I thought I'd probably have to carry it about 165. Hit a 6-iron, flew the green on that one. But yeah, other than that, I was there or thereabouts. Wasn't too far off. My approach play was actually pretty good. A couple of good chips that gave me a good chance of a 1-putt, but I didn't capitalize as much as I should. It's actually really funny. Like, golf's a crazy game, right? Because I've come off at the end, and he will vouch for this because we discussed it again yesterday. But I literally walked off the green, and I said to Ross, who I usually play with, and I said, I can't believe it. I've fucking bottled it again, basically, because I've left. Like, in my head, I've left like 5 or 6 shots out there. Even though I come in 1 under my handicap, I've gone on.
You could have been better.
I thought I should have been like 4 or 5 under, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a funny game, and it just shows you to keep playing. I actually parred 17 and 18 and 1 on countback. So real crucial stuff. I was off. 18's a par 3, 220 yards. I was off the left of the green on 18, chipped on, and I had about a 6-foot putt, and I actually fucking sunk it. And do you know what? So funny. I wasn't really thinking about it, because I thought, do you know what? I've probably fucking not won here now, because if I miss it, I've shot level.
Yeah.
So, right? And I just I gave it a little tap, and it just dropped in, and I sort of went, 1 under. That's a good round. But I just remember being sat down and going, it's so annoying, because I should be winning. Like, I'm playing this well. I should be winning. Yeah. And then, it's a testament to how tough the greens and stuff were yesterday, because I think on the whole competition, there wasn't many that were under. There was a lot of sort of level and +1 and +2 were like in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Well, so I've got another one for you then. So it's obviously your first win, so it's a significant moment in your career.
Yeah.
And I'm also on 1 win. So basically, we've both won a Division 2 comp at our respective clubs.
Yeah.
But you've been a member at North Mids for 4 years.
Yeah.
So do you know how many comps you've been in roughly in that 4-year period? Because
it's probably plus 50.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to get at here, and it's a little bit of a stitch up on your part, but I'm 1 in 3. So I've done 3 comps in my life, and I won 1. And you've gone 50 plus.
It'll be over. I play it's most Sats, I play regularly in them.
Yeah. So and then so in terms of winnings, how much did you get?
I don't know yet. It'll be. I'd imagine it'll be about 40-50 quid.
Right. Yeah. So
plus my 2, it'll be 60.
Yeah. Fine. When I won my one, I won 30 quid and went straight next door and bought a new pair of shoes.
Well, there you go. Ours actually goes on our bar and restaurant card, so it's got an exceptional. It's got an exceptional Thai restaurant in it. Actually, well, the 2s goes on the pro shop card, and then the winnings go on your bar card. So that'll buy me a few sizzling chicken hot plates or something like that.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, I'm hosting, aren't I? So Harry's not here. So I'm going to move this chat on. So that's enough about our weekend rounds. And it's a big week this week because we are in the second major of the year. And we've got the PGA Championship coming up, starting on Thursday. So firstly, don't worry, folks, I've got some stats. So they'll be coming shortly. But what I wanted to start with was just tying it into our Cornish links and a bit of our, sort of Cornish heritage.
I'm not sure we've mentioned it too much before, to be honest with you. In case anyone didn't know, we did grow up in Cornwall. We are Cornish.
Yeah. And one chap who was also from Cornwall is a bloke called Jim Barnes. So Jim Barnes was basically a professional golfer. And are you aware of him? Before I go in and explain him further,
I'm aware of him. Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, So for those that are not aware, I guess so. Jim Barnes, Cornish, professional golfer, and in the early sort of 1900s, he relocated to America, and he's notable because he's won a fair few majors in his time, but he is actually the winner of the first 2 PGA Championships. So he won the first one in 1916, and then he won his second one in 1919. But it was actually the second edition of the PGA because there wasn't any tournament in 1917 or 18. Do you know why that would have been?
Well, World War, I'm assuming.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Very good. So yeah, the tournament started in 1916. So he won that, and then they had a couple of years because of World War One. So he then came back in 1919 and defended his title. And so yeah, Cornishman Jim Barnes, he is the first winner and second winner of the PGA Championship.
Yeah, just on Jim. So born in Lelant in Cornwall, which is a tiny village, back in 1886, to give you a scale on when this was. So he did win in the early 1900s, and his last win of a major was in 1925. So he would have been into his 40s then, I think, if my math's correct, or 39 maybe. But he's kind of technically, and I'm going to throw this one out there, a little bit controversial, but he's what I would call an unofficial Grand Slam winner. Right, because he has won 3 majors. So he's won the PGA twice. He's won the US Open. He's won the Open Championship, which during his playing career was all that he could have possibly won because the Masters hadn't been founded yet. So there's obviously like the famous club where, your Tiger Woodses and stuff that we've discussed have gone on and won all 4 majors that are available. But unfortunately, that wasn't possible for Jim. So in fairness to him, he won every major that was available to him in his playing career. And in 1989, he was actually inducted in the World Golf Hall of Fame. So, yeah,
He's some bloody boy. Yeah.
Representing the bloody mighty Cornwall from down in the land. He's done it. He is also, I believe, a golfing idol of Cornishman Harry Hall, who is currently on the PGA Tour. And he got asked who would be in his four ball, dead or alive, and he named Jim Barnes as the first member of the four ball. So shout out Harry Hall. If you ever want to come on the pod, you know where we are.
Yeah, I think they're from a similar area, aren't they?
He played down at West Cornwall, which is basically off the land. So,
but I mean, I guess a few more sort of interesting things about his win. So his PGA wins, right? So back then, when it first was formed as a major championship, it was actually a match play event. So he had to play 5 days in a row, straight knockout, and he ended up winning every match. And so he's both of his PGAs were in a match play format. Do you know? So it was the same prize money as well, both times. Any idea, without looking it up, how much you think he won?
I'm going to get it's in dollars, yeah?
It's in dollars, yeah.
I'm going to guess it's something like $1,000.
Well, you're not far off. He's actually won $1,000 across both because the prize money for winning was $500.
Well, any ideas what that's worth real term? What?
I've no idea, but Brooks Koepka, who's the defending PGA champion, and we'll come on to, but he won last year 3.15 million. Right?
Funny,
and poor old Jim, 100 years ago, won $500.
I'm just gonna. What year was it? 1916.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean.
Right, just this could be miles off it, but I've just Googled what a house cost in 1916, right. And the number one that came up, it says adjusted for 1916 dollars, it would have been about $132 and change. Would have got you a house in 1916. So he has won, in theory, maybe don't quote me on this, guys. It's the number one. It's just the top source that came up.
I would imagine $500 at that time frame was a handy amount of money, but comparison to Brooks,
yeah, it just sounds funny, doesn't it?
He's won $3 million last year, and then I mean the actual purse for those ones that Jim won was a total of 3,000, and last year the PGA Championship paid out 17.5 million. So that's a scale, over 100 years of where professional golf has gone from, basically. It's pretty astronomical, really.
Bloody love it, don't we?
Yeah. So anyway, Jim Barnes, have a Google of him. Legend. He's done well.
The Cornish representing on the biggest stage possible.
Yeah. So anyway, moving into sort of the rest of the PGA Championship week. I've got a few stats here for you.
Sure. We love major season here. We love it. It's what we turn up for in golf, basically. We fucking love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the PGA Championship as well is a bit of a quirky one because, the Masters, you always have your past champions and your favourites that, and there's the storylines, Rory trying to do the Grand Slam and what have you. And then the US Open's big, and then the Open Championship is the only one outside of America. So, the PGA Championship is, like I said, it's a bit quirky. And, it's actually an event where a lot of golfers have claimed their first major win. So taking a small sample size, right? So if you go back to 2009, so 15 years.
Yeah.
So there's been 8 first-time major winners in that period of time. So 2009 was Wai Yang from Korea. Then Martin Keimer, Keegan Bradley, Jason Duffner, Jason Day, Jimmy Walker, Justin Thomas, and Colin Morikawa all got off the mark
on that note,
winning the PGA Championship.
I'm pretty sure Keegan Bradley and Colin Morikawa were either in their first or second seasons. They were new on the scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, there's an opportunity there for someone, arguably like even a big name that's yet to get off the mark, to show up this week and pick up their first win.
Was Keegan Bradley's was his second ever win.
Yeah.
So he'd only won once before, which is like mad when you think about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll shoot a few names at you. So you got Victor Hovland, Cantlay, Schauffele, Tony Finau, Fleetwood, Højberg. You know, there's some big names there that have yet to win a major.
Homer.
Yeah, Homer. So yeah, it could be one of those guys that goes for it this week.
Yeah, I mean there'll be a few that haven't won. I'm just having a look now. I suppose you got your wacky Neemans as well, AB.
Yeah.
Your Taylor Gooches.
Yeah.
A few of them knocking around. Cam Young, has he got the bottle? Probably not. Will Zalatoris?
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few, you know, but then at the same time, Mr. Brooks Koepka has won 3 out of the last 6, and he also came
Mr.
second.
PGA, isn't he?
Yeah, and he came second when Phil won in 2021. So
and he was basically hobbling as well, mate. His knee was still fucked.
Yeah. So you would be pushed to argue that he's the man to beat. And, you know, Scheffler's been in form all year. Rory is hitting the money the last few weeks. We'll come on to him in a minute. But you would still have to put Brooks up there as being sort of favourite for this week.
Well, yeah, so he's actually third with the bookies. But real talk reality is, let's be honest about it. He is Mr. PGA. Like, if you obviously in the last 6, you say he's come second once, won 3. So 4 times in the top 2 in 6. Like, fucking come on. Like, one's. I don't really know of anyone that's got a better record in any major than that. Really, when you think about it, like people have won like back-to-backers and stuff, but not that in like 5 or 6 years. You know, like it's crazy.
Yep.
So fair play to him. He's good. He turns up in the majors, Mr. Major. He doesn't win a lot outside of the majors, to be honest. If you actually look at his career, he's won 5 majors, but I think he's only got like 10, 12 wins in general.
Yeah. Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, he always, I mean, he's open about it, isn't he? He says all the time.
He don't care, mate. He
wants majors. He doesn't want anything else. So
he's got 9 wins on the PGA Tour. 5 of them are majors.
Yeah.
He's actually, ironically, got 4 wins on Live Golf. I think he won the last Live Golf event as well.
Right. Where was that?
Not that means anything, but he did win it.
Right. Yeah, but then
Live Golf Singapore, he shot 15 under, won by 2 strokes, and the runners-up were Mark Leishman and Cam Smith, tied.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows? Let's see.
But I guess,
interestingly, just quickly, because I'm on his wiki whilst we're here,
right.
the 2 times that he wasn't in the top 4, he was not miles off it. He did make the cut, but he was tied 29th, tied 55th. So he's either going to be right amongst it or nowhere near it, is my summary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he'll be up there for sure.
He's been in good form. He played all right at the Masters and that.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we know Scheffler has been in good form. He's not played for a few weeks, but I don't think that's really going to be too much of a big deal for him. I think he'll still be in and amongst it.
I think it is kind of breaking news a little bit, isn't it? But his wife gave birth last night. I'm pretty sure I heard on the radio this morning.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen that, but yeah.
I could be chatting shit, but I'm sure the guy from MGM Bet, shout out MGM Bet if you ever want to come on the pod, you know where we are. Not heard great things about you guys, so you need a good bit of PR. Let us know. It was on TalkSport when I just went to the supermarket a minute ago.
Right.
He was going through the odds and that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I still think he's, going to be up there. I don't buy into all this. His wife's had a kid, so he might be tired and all this other stuff. I think, if he wants to win a golf tournament, he'll pretty much win it. So
yeah, I think he'll be there as well. I mean, in America as well, like.
Yeah.
They've got money to do everything. His missus probably in a hospital in Valhalla already. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all planned. Like she was on standby for some hospital near the Masters, wasn't she? Like she's not going to be far away.
And there's been a month in between. So anyway, I guess, moving on to sort of rounding up the big boys, if you like, Rory has been on fire in the last month since the Masters, basically. So he's had 2 starts on the PGA Tour and he's won both. Obviously, we did a pod on the Zurich Classic last time out, really, and him and Shane got the victory there. And then, we both stayed up last night and watched him win at Quail Hollow again for the 4th time, which is a record.
Do you know what as well? I'll tell you what I was really impressed with is he obviously started the day in 2nd. I'm pretty sure he was on -11. Xander's on -12.
Yeah.
And time again, or not time and time again, but often of recent years, you sometimes see Rory in that position and he'll shrink a little bit.
Yeah.
And you sort of think like, I think there was one where he shot like 18 pars or something and just like the guy who ended up winning by like 2 shots. Can't remember.
Yeah, it was the Open. It was the St. Andrews.
Right. So then, and then you just sort of think like, oh mate, come on. Come on, like you can do this. But yesterday was absolutely mustard, wasn't he? Like he ended up winning by 5 shots, I think, in the end. He actually had a 7-shot lead and doubled the 18th,
Exactly, yeah. So, and I mean, the other sort of key thing about this week is it's at Valhalla, when the last time it was at Valhalla was 10 years ago, and Mr. Rory McIlroy won his 2nd PGA Championship.
It was the last major he won, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
it was the last one.
Yeah. I mean, it's always spoken about before every single major, because he hasn't won for 10 years now and counting. So, but he is coming in off the back of 2 wins. He's winning, or he's playing at the course where he last delivered a major win. So it's an easy prediction to make, but again, it's hard to look too far past him this week, given what we've seen in the last fortnight.
Yeah, and so just on Rory, he's been quoted as saying he feels like the stars are aligning. So I feel like mentally he's in a good place.
Yeah.
I think you said earlier, last time he won the PGA, he won the week before as well. So he went in like back to back. So he's done that this time. He's won his last 2 starts. Obviously, granted, one of them was with Shane, but he didn't play last week. So he obviously couldn't win that. So the last 2 times he's been out, he's played, he's won.
Yeah.
And I just think, generally, I am going on record. I've said it and I will say it again. The guy is too good to not win more majors than what he's already won. I know he's kind of already had a Hall of Fame career. But by the way, if it was ever in doubt, he's put the haters to bed, because technically the doubles one the other day was his 25th win in inverted commas.
Yeah.
There were certain people questioning whether it would whether it should count as his 25th win, because he's obviously played with a playing partner. Well, he's definitely got 25 now, whatever way you want to look at it, because he's bounced back next week and won again. So on the record books, it will show 26. But if you were hating on him the other week for winning with Shane, in your books, it shows 25 now. So, and I'm going on the record and I will say, come Monday, it will show 27, because he is my pick for the PGA. I called it earlier on a different podcast.
Yeah.
Not a different podcast. This podcast, different episode. But if anyone wants to invite us on their podcast, shout us out. You know where we are. Happy to come on. I think he's going to win. And I said it. I think he will win other majors before he wins the Masters. I think he will complete the Grand Slam. I think he will probably end up, he's on 4. I think he'll probably end up on about 7 majors before he retires. And I think he will go down as the greatest golfer of this era. And I'm happy to clip this up.
Yeah.
I've got a few mates who think the complete opposite, think he's finished. I won't say their names, but you know who you are. And I know you listen to this regularly. So you can WhatsApp me when you hear this. This is aimed straight at you, pal. Rory is going to win again.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is part of the problem with doing predictions in the previous episode for the whole year, because it's hard to disagree with any of what you said. And
Yeah.
we obviously are both huge Rory fans.
Yeah.
And we got it wrong with the Masters because I think that was our pick for then. But for me, well, on that episode that we've just spoken about, I said that the PGA Championship would be won by Ludwig Øyberg. So that he's going to be my sort of short priced pick. I think he's about 16-1 at the moment. But weirdly, he's actually not played in about a month because he hasn't played since the RBC.
Did he have a shoulder problem? If I made that up,
sorry,
I think he might have had a shoulder problem. I think he was entered for one.
Right.
I think he was entered for one, but then pulled. But then he's fine. I think I might have made that up though.
I mean, he's playing this week. That's all I know. But yeah, so he's not actually played since the RBC Heritage. But in terms of his form, so bear in mind this is still his first season on the PGA Tour. So since January, he's been he's not been outside of the top 30 since January, right? So, and in all the big events, so the Masters, the Players at Pebble Beach and the RBC, he's been inside the top 10. Mm-hmm. Masters, he was second. Players, he was top 10. He's in great form, just generally. And obviously, the majors, he's only got one so far, but it didn't phase him at all in the Masters, and he's finished second. Yeah. So, yeah, look, and we've said about first-time winners coming in the PGA Championship. So
it happened every other year, really, on average.
Yeah,
I don't know specific years, but so just quickly, so I'll give you we'll cut the Bet365 odds. Shout out Bet365 if you want to sponsor the pod. You know where we are. Forgot her name, but she owns Stoke City or something, doesn't she? She's got a bit of fee. So if you know where we are, if you want to sponsor it, Rory McIlroy, second favourite at 7-1. I actually think at 7-1 is good value. That's each way price for the first 8 places. So that's what we're quoting on the whole way down. Ludwig Øyberg is 16-1 for those odds. My mid-level pick, which will come as no surprise to a lot of you, but for those of you who got on it last time, you would have got your payout. I'm going for Bryson DeChambeau. He is 25-1. I think he was 30 or 33-1 just before the Masters. So the bookies always know. They've cut the odds for a reason. He's in good form. He's allowed to do his putting techniques on these greens, and I think you could see him right up there. He's confident at the moment. He's playing well. Watch his YouTube stuff. I know people laugh at this, but you watch his YouTube stuff. He's doing some impressive stuff, scrambling around some stupid scores with some other creators who probably shouldn't be able to get as low as what they do. Often it's usually they play his ball a few times, but I think he'll be right up there. So that's my mid-level pick at 25-1. Who's yours, AB?
Yeah, so actually same odds, I think. So I'm going with Max Homa. So He's been in good form all year. He's a big personality now on the tour. Again, someone looking for his first major. And even if he's, not quite near the top, he does things he does memorable things. So he gets a lot of coverage and he gets a lot of fanfare, a lot of people watching him. Great guy on the tour, really. So I'm backing him this week. And yeah, hopefully he goes well.
He's actually 28-1 on 365. So good value there if he's showing it slightly lower on some of the others. Now, my outside pick, I am going for a previous winner. I will just shout out his clobber at the moment. We are sponsored by Barretto Golf, quality, stylish, affordable golf brand. Visit our website, barrettogolf.com. But he is sponsored by Malbon. And I've got to say, I've been really impressed with some of what he's been wearing recently. But he did look, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, like he was going on a 12-hour day session, Shoreditch. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
Yeah, the buttons shirt, you mean?
Yeah. But
he looks like he should be on a boat somewhere.
Yeah, he did. He had a pretty solid last 4 days. He actually finished fourth. Granted, he was like 11 shots off the lead. But
yeah, he's in good form. He's
played well recently. So he is 55-1. A previous winner of the tournament. Hasn't won a major in a while, but he's sort of threatened a little bit to get a couple of wins recently. So I think for each way bet at 55-1, that's probably not a bad odds to be having a look at.
Yeah, very good. And then I guess for me to round off this episode of the pod, my outside bet is, I don't know if we have a drum roll, but it is a Mr. Taylor Gooch. So, your man, Taylor, he is in the PGA Championship.
You got a photo of him on your desk somewhere, don't you?
It's not on my desk. It's still in the wrapper, actually.
Shout out, JB.
Sorry, JB. It's still in the wrapper, mate. But we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it out. Let's see. Maybe if he wins me, I think he's 90-1 or thereabouts.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, haven't listened to previous episodes, AB's got real soft spot for Taylor Gooch. He's generally his favourite golfer. Big fan of the Live Tour and big fan of Taylor. Like, really agrees with a lot of the things that he says. He speaks out quite a lot against PGA Tour, which really aligns with his values. And
well, look, he's spoken out so much since the Masters that they've given him a token invite. So he has been invited, and now there will be no asterisks, and we shall see whether he truly is as good as he thinks he is.
So
I'm tipping him at 90-1, but I actually don't think he'll make the cut. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's 80-1 on 365 for those that are on 365.
Oh, well, go to Sky for that one then.
Yeah, I think it's going to go one or two ways for the poor lad, and I hope for his mental health. I hope it goes well. I don't want him to win.
Well, he was angry the other day when they asked him if he was going to qualify.
Well, he was asked if he was going to enter the qualifying for the US Open, and the three people that he was on the stage, I can't quite remember who was there, were all quite articulate and said, "Yes, I'm doing this one, I'm doing this one," and someone said, "Oh, they're going to do the British Open over here," and blah 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 blah, and he literally just went, "No, I'm not. No. Next question." So fuck you, Taylor. The majors are still golf. They're the biggest events in golf. If you didn't believe that, you wouldn't have accepted this invite. So let's fucking see what you got, mate. I want to see. Not that you've got to prove anything to me, mate, but I want to see a bit from you, Taylor. Let's see if you got it.
Yeah, I agree. It's win-win, right? I mean, if he's at 80, 90,
he can start gobbing off. If he wins, we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah,
he'll be exempt from all the others.
So
yeah,
perfect.
He's already rich. He sold his soul, but that's another story.
No, I meant me, mate. If I win,
you'll be rich.
Yeah. But anyway, right. That's the preview show over. We shall do a debrief on Monday next week when we know who the winner is of the PGA Championship. So
and
tune in.
We obviously know you will all be tuning in to the next episode anyway, just to hear about if I won my match play matches alone. So got one on Monday, one on Thursday, 2 separate singles competitions. I think I'm getting a few shots in one, giving away a few shots in another. So let's see how we go. I'm confident. I'll let you know how the putting goes and how the ball striking goes, but overall, feeling good. More to follow.
Right. Go well.
Over and out. I can just imagine you at Taylor Gooch win fucking PGA.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Brilliant.
Anyway, here we go.